The roses were perfect, blood red and pristine, arranged in a crystal vase I'd received as a wedding gift 3 years ago. 30 roses for my 30th birthday. The note propped against them was in Wesley's precise handwriting, and for a moment I smiled. My husband had always been thoughtful about these things. I'm Elizabeth, and this was the day my life imploded. My dearest Elizabeth, the note read, by the time you read this, your mother and I will be in Paris. I'm sorry to do this on your birthday, but there's never a good time to say goodbye. We've fallen in love. I hope someday you'll understand. Wesley. I read it 3 times before the words made sense. Then I threw up in the kitchen sink. Alexa, call Wesley, I commanded, my voice shaking. Calling Wesley Quinn, the device chirped. Straight to voicemail. Alexa, call Mom. Same result. I slumped against the marble counter, my designer dress wrinkling, the dress I'd worn to my own birthday dinner, where neither my husband nor my mother had shown up. Family emergency, they'd both texted. Now I knew what kind of emergency they'd been handling. My phone buzzed, a Instagram notification. My fingers trembled as I opened it. There they were, Wesley and my mother Yvette, clinking wine glasses by the Seine. Her caption read, New Beginnings. Paris. Love. Never too late. You fucking cowards, I whispered, then screamed it, hurling my phone across the room. It hit the wall but didn't break. Military-grade case, because I was always prepared for everything except this. Playing latest voicemail, Alexa suddenly announced. My mother's voice filled the room. Wesley, darling, she'll be devastated, of course, but Elizabeth always was dramatic. Remember when she cried for days because I missed her high school graduation? For a business trip of all things. She'll survive this too. We deserve to be happy. I yanked Alexa's plug from the wall, but the damage was done. My mother's words hung in the air like poison. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find Caitlin, my best friend and PR representative, holding a bottle of tequila and wearing an expression that told me she knew. It's trending, she said softly. I'm so sorry, Liz. How many people have seen it? The post has about 5,000 likes, but that's not important right now. It's all important. I straightened my spine, muscle memory from years of board meetings. Call Felix. Get him to check the company accounts. Now. Elizabeth, it's nearly midnight. They're in Paris, Caitlin, using whose money? Because I sure as hell didn't fund their little romance. She pulled out her phone, fingers flying over the screen. While she talked to Felix, I walked to my home office, each step deliberate. The walls were lined with photos of our success. Wesley and me at the company launch, my mother beaming proudly at our first major press conference, family holidays where we all smiled perfectly for the camera, lies, all of it. Felix called back within minutes. Elizabeth, there are discrepancies, large ones, going back months. How much? Initial estimate? Around 2 million, transferred to various European accounts. I laughed, the sound harsh in the quiet room. Well, Paris isn't cheap. I'm sending Talon over, Caitlin said, naming her brother, our corporate lawyer. We need to protect the company. No, I turned to face her. First, we're going to destroy them, both of them. Liz, they took everything from me, Caitlin. My marriage, my mother, my trust, my money. I picked up a framed photo of Wesley and me on our wedding day, my mother standing beside us. Now I'm going to take everything from them. How? I smiled, and in the glass of the frame, I saw my reflection change. Something cold and calculating replaced the shock and pain. First, we let them enjoy Paris. Let them think they've won. Let them spend my money and post their perfect photos. I set the frame face down. Then we're going to make them wish they'd never heard of social media. Caitlin poured 2 shots of tequila. To revenge, I clinked my glass against hers. to karma, and to making sure everyone knows exactly who delivered it. My phone buzzed again. Another Instagram notification? This time it was a story. My mother twirling in front of the Eiffel Tower, Wesley filming her. She looked young, carefree, happy. I took a screenshot. Evidence. The first piece in what would become my masterpiece of revenge. Happy birthday to me, I whispered, and downed the shot. 3 days into my new life as the woman whose husband ran off with her mother, my doorbell rang at 2 a.m. I grabbed the baseball bat I'd started keeping nearby. Paranoia was my new normal, and crept to the door. Who is it? Your favorite disappointment. I lowered the bat. Ava? My sister stood on my doorstep, clutching a paper bag and wearing the same rebellious smirk she'd had since childhood. Brought vodka and those disgusting triple chocolate cookies you stress eat. Let me in? I hadn't seen Ava in 2 years, not since she'd stormed out of our mother's Christmas dinner after another passive-aggressive comment about her alternative lifestyle choices, meaning her art career and purple hair. How did you know? I asked, letting her in. Please, it's all over social media. Mom's living her best eat, pray, love fantasy with your husband. It's like a Lifetime movie, but more tragic. She paused. Also, Felix called me. Felix called you? Someone had to. You weren't answering your phone. She pulled out the vodka. Besides, I have something to tell you, something I should have said years ago. I grabbed glasses from the kitchen. This sounds ominous. Remember Dad's retirement party 3 years ago? Vaguely. I was busy with the company launch. Well, I saw something. Ava poured generous shots. Mom and Wesley in Dad's study. She was touching his arm, laughing at everything he said, the way she used to flirt with Dad's business partners. The glass froze halfway to my lips. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? Mom's golden child questioning her perfect mother? Ava's laugh was bitter. Besides, I thought I was imagining things. Mom wouldn't, but she did, didn't she? My phone rang, interrupting us. Felix, Elizabeth, we have a problem, he said without preamble. Remember that luxury skincare line you've been developing? The one launching next month? What about it? Your mother just registered a trademark in France for an identical product line using your formulations. The room spun. That's impossible. Those formulas are proprietary. Wesley had access to everything, and guess what they're calling it? Nouveau debut. New beginning. I put the phone on speaker, hands shaking. They're using my money to steal my product? It gets worse, Felix continued. The European trademark was filed 3 months ago. They've been planning this. Ava grabbed my arm. Liz, breathe. I am breathing. My voice was ice. Felix, how quickly can we stop them? Talon's already on it, but Elizabeth, this means the betrayal started long before they left. They were setting this up for months. After I hung up, Ava poured more vodka. You know what this means, right? That I'm an idiot who trusted the wrong people? No. She grabbed my shoulders. It means they're scared of you. They needed a head start because they know you're smarter than both of them combined. I stared at her. When did you become so wise? Around the same time I stopped trying to win Mom's approval. She pulled out her phone. Look at their latest post. It was a video of my mother in what looked like a fancy office, Wesley filming as she gestured around the space. Our new venture, the caption read. Can't wait to share our vision with the world. Entrepreneur life, passion project. That's my vision, I whispered. My formulas, my life's work. Then take it back. Ava's eyes gleamed. Better yet, let them launch it. Let them think they've won, then crush them so completely they'll never recover. My phone buzzed with a text from Caitlin. Meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m., bringing Fatima from Business Weekly. Time to tell your story. I looked at Ava. Want to help me destroy our mother? Thought you'd never ask. She raised her glass. To family, to karma. We clinked glasses just as another Instagram notification popped up. My mother posting a sunset photo with Wesley. Sometimes love surprises you. Sometimes it's right in front of you all along. Blessed. Ava made a gagging sound. Please tell me you're going to destroy their social media presence first. Oh, I'm going to destroy everything. I pulled out my laptop. But first, we need to talk to Felix about those financial records. Every transaction, every transfer. And then I smiled, remembering all the times my mother had criticized my obsession with details, how Wesley had called me controlling for keeping meticulous records. And then we're going to show the world exactly who they're dealing with. I opened my email, starting with that trademark application they thought I wouldn't find. Ava grinned. Happy birthday, sis. Want me to stick around for the show? Actually, I said, I think I'm going to need my little sister for this one. Good. She grabbed a cookie. Because I've been waiting years to see Mom's perfect mask crack. Are you absolutely sure about this? Felix asked, staring at the papers in front of him. Once we file these, there's no going back. I signed the final document with a flourish. New company name, new branding, new everything. Wesley Quinn Lifestyle Brands is dead. Long live Elizabeth Beauty Empire. That's not actually the new name, is it? Caitlin looked horrified. No, but wouldn't that just kill my mother? I laughed, but no one joined in. They were worried about me, I could tell. The new name is Ascendant because that's exactly what we're going to do. The conference room fell silent as my team processed the magnitude of what we were doing. Rebranding a multi-million-dollar company wasn't just about new letterhead. It was burning bridges, severing ties, and betting everything on my vision alone. The villa sold this morning, Talon announced, walking in with a stack of documents. Above asking price, that gives us enough capital to buy out Wesley's shares through our proxy buyer and fund the relaunch. You sold your house? Ava's purple hair whipped around as she turned to face me. Where are you going to live? The penthouse above the office. I'm done separating business and personal life. They already did that for me. Caitlin cleared her throat. Speaking of personal life going public, Fatima's article drops tomorrow. Are you ready for the fallout? You mean, am I ready for everyone to know my husband and mother stole my money and my intellectual property to start a competing business in France? I smiled. I've never been more ready for anything in my life. The trademark lawyers in Europe are standing by, Talon added. The moment your mother and Wesley try to launch their product line, they won't get that far, I interrupted. Trust me. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification. I'd stopped blocking them, choosing instead to watch their perfect Paris fantasy play out. Today's post showed Wesley in a sleek office, signing papers. The caption read, Big things coming, watch this space. Businessman, Jack's entrepreneur life. They're getting sloppy, Ava noted, looking over my shoulder. That document he's signing, you can see the company name if you zoom in. I enlarged the image. Nouveau Debut Cosmetics. My mother always did lack creativity. The relaunch event is in 3 days, Caitlin said, checking her tablet. Guest list is confirmed, media is lined up, and security has been doubled. Any word from our friends in Paris? Felix nodded. My contact says they're burning through cash fast. That startup they're trying to launch, it's hemorrhaging money. Good. I stood up, smoothing my dress. Time for the press conference. Everyone ready? The next hour was a blur of cameras and questions. I announced the company's rebranding, carefully avoiding any mention of Wesley or my mother. Instead, I focused on innovation, growth, and my vision for the future. The reporters ate it up, especially the part about me selling my home to invest in the company's expansion. Ms. Elizabeth, One reporter called out, "Any comment on your husband's new business venture in Paris?" I smiled directly into the cameras. I wish all new businesses the best of luck. The beauty industry can be unforgiving to those who don't understand its complexities. The threat was subtle, but anyone who knew anything about business would catch it. I saw several reporters scribbling furiously. After the press conference, I retreated to my new penthouse office. The view of the city was spectacular, worth every penny I'd spent having the space renovated. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "They're returning. 2 weeks. Prepare yourself." I forwarded the message to Caitlin. Within minutes, my team was assembled in my office. "How reliable is this source?" Talon asked. "Very," Felix replied. "It's from my contact at their bank in Paris. They're running out of money faster than expected." I walked to the window, watching the sunset paint the city gold. Perfect timing. Let them come crawling back just in time for the relaunch party. "Liz," Ava said softly, "what exactly are you planning?" I turned to face my sister, seeing the concern in her eyes. "Justice, karma, call it what you want." "And after?" she pressed. "What then?" Before I could answer, my phone buzzed again. A final Instagram post for the day. My mother and Wesley, looking slightly less polished than usual, posed in front of their office building. Sometimes you have to go home to move forward. Paris, it's been magical. New chapter. "Well," I said, showing them the post. "Looks like we won't have to wait 2 weeks after all." I pressed a button on my desk intercom. "Sarah, call Fatima. Tell her I'd like to move up our interview and book the main conference room for tomorrow morning." "For how many people?" Sarah asked. I smiled, thinking of the cameras we'd already hidden in place. "Just 3. It's going to be a very private family reunion." The security guard's call came at 11:47 p.m. "Ms. Elizabeth, there are 2 people in the lobby insisting on seeing you. They say they're family." I muted Netflix and sat up on my office couch. "How do they look, Marcus?" "Rough. The woman's makeup is smeared. The man's suit is wrinkled. They've been arguing for 10 minutes. Turn on the lobby audio." Through my phone, I heard my mother's voice, shrill and desperate. "Tell her it's her mother. This is ridiculous. I helped build this company." "Please," Wesley added. "We've been trying to reach her for days." I smiled at their performance. Their phones had been cut off 2 days ago. Another piece of my plan falling into place. Let them wait 15 minutes, then send them up. I used those minutes well, fixing my makeup and changing into the red power suit that had always made my mother jealous. "You're too aggressive in red," she used to say. Perfect. When they stumbled into my office, they looked exactly like what they were. 2 people whose fantasy had crashed into reality. "Elizabeth," my mother stepped forward, arms outstretched. "Darling, stop." I held up my hand. "Security cameras are recording. Let's keep this professional." Wesley's facade cracked first. "We need help. The business?" There were complications. Complications? I leaned against my desk. "Like discovering that stealing someone's intellectual property has consequences?" "We didn't steal," my mother began. "The trademark office disagrees." I pulled out a folder. "As do the French authorities investigating your fraudulent business registration." "That's why we're here," Wesley said quickly. "We can explain everything." "Can you explain the $2 million you transferred from my accounts?" My mother's face crumpled. "I made a mistake. We both did. But family forgives." "Family?" I laughed. "Is that what we are? Because last month you were posting about your magical new beginning with my husband." "The startup failed," Wesley admitted. "Your mother. She spent everything on offices and marketing before we had product approval." "Of course she did." I turned to my mother. "You always did prefer appearances to substance." "Elizabeth, please." She was crying now, mascara running. "We have nowhere else to go. The press is circling. They know something's wrong. Help us fix this. Fix this? I pressed a button on my phone. Caitlin, are you getting all this? Crystal clear. Caitlin's voice came through the speaker. Video, too. Wesley's face went pale. You're recording this? Obviously, just like you recorded all those private conversations about my business plans. The ones you used to steal my formulas? We didn't, my mother started again. Save it for tomorrow's meeting. I handed them each an envelope. 9 a.m. main conference room. Don't be late. What meeting? Wesley asked. The one where you explained to everyone how you used my money to fund your affair and your failed business venture. I smiled. Bring your lawyers. You wouldn't dare, my mother hissed. I'm your mother. No, you're the woman who slept with my husband and stole my life's work. The woman who posted pictures of her betrayal all over social media. The woman who's about to learn exactly what kind of daughter she raised. We'll go to the press, Wesley threatened weakly. Please do. Fatima from Business Weekly would love to hear your side. She's already got mine. They stood there, defeated and desperate, exactly as I'd imagined them 1,000 times over the past months. Security will escort you out, I said, pressing another button. Oh, and Mom, that Chanel bag you're carrying? The one you bought with my money? Leave it. As they were led away, I heard my mother's last attempt. Elizabeth, please, we're still family. I waited until the elevator doors closed before allowing myself to shake. Caitlin and Ava burst in from the adjoining room. That was brutal, Ava said, hugging me. You okay? Better than okay. I pulled out my phone and sent a pre-written text to Fatima. They took the bait. Tomorrow's all yours. They look terrible, Caitlin observed. What happened to all their glamorous Paris photos? Reality, I said. Reality happened. My phone buzzed with a response from Fatima. Camera crew confirmed for 8:30 a.m. This will be the business story of the year. It's not just business, I told Caitlin and Ava. Tomorrow, everyone learns what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. And after? Ava asked. I looked around my office at the empire I'd built and rebuilt. After we celebrate, because some people need to learn that karma doesn't just happen. Sometimes it needs a little push. The security feed showed my mother and Wesley arguing in the parking lot, their voices desperate and angry. Tomorrow, they'd learn just how desperate they should be. I smiled and turned off the feed. Now, who wants a drink? We have a big day tomorrow. The conference room was perfect. Cameras hidden behind tasteful decorative panels, microphones disguised as table ornaments, and a seemingly innocent screen ready to display exactly what I needed. I adjusted my blazer and checked the time, 8:55 a.m. They're here, Caitlin announced through my earpiece, looking hungover and hostile. Perfect. Send them up in 2 minutes. Is Fatima in position? Hidden in the side room with her crew. They're ready. I took my seat at the head of the table, arranging the folders in front of me with precision. The door opened and they walked in. Wesley in a rumpled suit he'd clearly slept in. My mother trying to hide her smeared makeup behind oversized sunglasses. Sit, I commanded, pointing to the chairs across from me. Elizabeth, my mother started, removing her sunglasses. We need to talk privately. Oh, we're well past privacy, I interrupted. You made sure of that with all those lovely social media posts. Wesley leaned forward. Look, we made mistakes, but we can fix this quietly, for everyone's sake. I pressed a button on my phone, and their Instagram feed appeared on the screen behind me. Quietly? Like this post where you called me a controlling bitch who drove you away? Or this one where Mother Dearest mocked my pathetic need for attention? They exchanged panicked looks. Those were private messages, my mother whispered. Nothing's private anymore. Isn't that what you taught me? I pulled out the first folder. Let's talk about Nouveau Debut Cosmetics. That's our company, Wesley said quickly. We have all the paperwork. You mean these documents? I spread out papers across the table, the ones where you used my formulas, my research, my money. My mother stood up. You can't prove. Actually, I can. I pressed another button. Security footage filled the screen. Wesley in his old office, downloading files late at night. The timestamps match perfectly with your wire transfers to Paris. The color drained from Wesley's face. How did you? I learned from the best. I smiled at my mother. You always said I was too trusting, remember? Too naive? Well, I fixed that character flaw. The door opened and Ava walked in. My mother's face twisted with disgust. What is she doing here? Supporting her sister, Ava replied coolly. Something you wouldn't understand. This is a business meeting, Wesley protested. No, I corrected him. This is karma. I pressed another button, and the decorative panels slid away, revealing Fatima and her camera crew. My mother screamed. What is this? This? I gestured around the room. This is your comeback story, the one where you explain to Business Weekly's millions of readers why you stole from your own daughter. You can't do this, Wesley stammered. I already have. I nodded to Fatima, who stepped forward with her microphone ready. Now, shall we discuss the $2 million you embezzled, or would you prefer to start with the intellectual property theft? I'll destroy you, my mother hissed, but her voice shook. Like you destroyed my marriage, my trust, my company? I stood up slowly. But here's the difference. I'm doing this legally, ethically, and most importantly, I'm doing it in front of witnesses. We're your family, she tried one last time. Family doesn't steal from family, Ava cut in. Family doesn't betray family. Family doesn't Family doesn't sleep with their daughter's husband. I finished. The cameras were rolling now, capturing every moment of their destruction. Ms. Elizabeth, Fatima stepped forward. Would you like to comment on the allegations of fraud against your mother and ex-husband? I smiled directly into the camera. I believe in letting evidence speak for itself. I pressed one final button, and financial records filled the screen. These transactions tell quite a story, don't they? This interview is over. Wesley stood up abruptly. Sit down, I commanded, or I press charges right now. Fraud, theft, embezzlement. Take your pick. They sat. Now, I continued, let's talk about how you plan to launch a competing brand using stolen formulas. Mother, why don't you start? Tell everyone how long you've been sleeping with my husband. My mother's carefully maintained facade finally cracked. You vindictive little. 3 years, Ava interrupted. I saw them at Dad's retirement party. Remember that, Mom? In his study? The camera zoomed in on my mother's face as it crumpled. Wesley reached for her hand, but she yanked it away. This is all your fault, she spat at him. You said she'd never find out about the money. I sat back, watching them implode. Everything was being recorded. Their accusations, their lies, their desperate attempts to blame each other. And that, I said to the camera, is what happens when you underestimate the daughter you raised to be just like you. The interview wasn't over, but my revenge was just beginning. The interview aired 3 days later. I watched it in my office with my team, champagne in hand, as my mother and Wesley destroyed themselves on national television. I had no choice, my mother was saying on screen, mascara running. Elizabeth was suffocating him with her controlling behavior. That's not what you said in Paris. Wesley interrupted. You said we deserved the money because you'd given up your career to raise her. Shut up. My mother turned on him. You promised we'd never have to come back here. Fatima's voice cut through their bickering. So you admit to taking the money? The silence that followed was devastating. God, this is better than Netflix, Ava commented, refilling our glasses. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the broadcast began. The story was trending on every platform, with headlines like Beauty Empire Betrayal and Mother in Law from Hell Steals Daughter's Life. Elizabeth, Caitlin called from her laptop. You need to see this. Wesley just posted something. I pulled up his Instagram. It was a lengthy post, clearly written in panic. The truth about Elizabeth, she drove me to this. Her obsession with perfection, her constant criticism. Her mother understood me in a way she never could. We didn't steal anything. Those formulas were joint property in our marriage. I'm filing a legal claim for emotional damages. Is he serious? Ava asked incredulously. Talon, who'd been quiet until now, smiled. Let him file. I've got something for that. He pulled out a document and handed it to me. It was Wesley's original contract with the company, dated 3 years ago. At the bottom, in clear legal language, was a clause stating all intellectual property belonged solely to the company, not to any individual employee. He signed this? I asked. He signed it twice, Talon confirmed. Once when you started the company, and again last year during the corporate restructure. He was too busy planning his escape to read the fine print. My phone rang. It was Fatima. Elizabeth, your mother's trying to shop around a different story. Says she has your original design sketches. Claims they were her ideas all along. I laughed. Let me guess. Old sketches from my notebook? The one that went missing last year? Yes, she's offering them to our competitors. Perfect. I nodded to Felix, who pulled up a file on his tablet. Send her this. It was a video from my old home office security camera, showing my mother sneaking in late one night, taking my notebook, and photographing pages with her phone. You recorded her stealing? Ava asked. I record everything, I replied. Another thing she taught me, always keep evidence. The next hour was chaos. My mother's attempted expose backfired spectacularly as the video went viral. Wesley's legal threat evaporated when Talon released the contracts. Their carefully constructed narrative was unraveling thread by thread. Look at this, Caitlin said, showing me her phone. Our company's stock was soaring. The market loved a good revenge story, especially one with solid business practices behind it. Ms. Elizabeth, my assistant called through the intercom. Mr. Wesley is in the lobby. He's crying. I switched on the security feed. Wesley was indeed there, tie askew, looking nothing like the confident man who'd left me that birthday note. Should I call security? The assistant asked. No, I said, standing up. Send him up, alone. Liz, Ava started, concerned. It's fine. I want to hear this. Wesley stumbled in minutes later, his eyes red. Elizabeth, please. She's crazy. Your mother? She manipulated me. She promised. Stop. I held up my hand. You're here because she turned on you, aren't you? Because she's blaming you for everything? He nodded miserably. Good. I sat down at my desk. That's exactly what I knew she'd do. You see, Wesley, I learned manipulation from the best. I knew if I put enough pressure on you both, you'd crack. I just didn't know who'd break first. I'll tell everyone the truth, he offered desperately, about how she planned it all. No need. I pressed play on my computer, and his voice filled the room. A recorded conversation between him and my mother, planning their escape months ago. His face went white. How did you... That smartwatch I gave you for Christmas? It does more than count steps. I smiled. You really should read the user manual sometime. You're just like her, he whispered. No, I corrected him. I'm better, because I didn't just get revenge. I built an empire doing it. I pressed the intercom. Security, please escort Mr. Wesley out and make sure he returns his access badge. As he was led away, Ava came in. You okay? Never better. I looked at my phone, another news alert about our soaring stock prices. Now, let's talk about tomorrow's product launch. I hear there's going to be record attendance. The beauty of revenge, I was learning, wasn't just in the destruction, it was in the rebuilding that came after. The product launch event was packed. Every beauty editor, influencer, and industry leader had shown up to witness what Vogue was already calling the comeback of the decade. Camera flashes lit up the venue like lightning as I took the stage. I'd chosen another red dress. Not just any red, but the exact shade my mother had always criticized as too attention seeking. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Welcome, I began, my voice steady. Today isn't just about launching a new product line. It's about truth, about resilience, about rising from betrayal stronger than before. The crowd fell silent. They'd all read the headlines, seen the interviews, watched the drama unfold. But they hadn't heard my full story. Not yet. 3 months ago, on my 30th birthday, I discovered that the two people I trusted most, my husband and my mother, had betrayed me in every possible way. I paused, letting the words sink in. They took my money, my designs, and my trust. They thought they'd broken me. Cameras clicked frantically. In the front row, Fatima was recording every word. But here's what they didn't understand, I continued, moving away from the podium to address the audience directly. When you try to destroy someone, you'd better make sure they don't come back stronger. I gestured to the screens behind me, where images of our new product line appeared. Everything you see today was created after they left. New formulas, new designs, new vision. Because sometimes you need to burn everything down to build something better. The crowd murmured appreciatively. I caught sight of Ava in the wings, giving me a thumbs up. They say revenge is best served cold, I smiled. But I prefer to serve it with style, with innovation, with success. That's when I saw her, my mother, trying to slip into the back of the room. Security moved to intercept her, but I held up my hand. No, I said into the microphone. Let her stay. She should see this. The crowd turned to look at her, and for the first time in my life, I saw my mother shrink under public scrutiny. Mother, I called out, my voice echoing through the venue. Perfect timing. I was just about to announce our company's new charitable initiative, a foundation supporting victims of financial abuse and betrayal. Her face went pale as I continued. And the first donation? The $2 million we recovered from your failed Paris venture. Poetic, isn't it? The audience burst into applause. My mother turned to leave, but found her way blocked by reporters. But that's not all, I pressed on. Today, we're not just launching products, we're launching a movement. Every purchase from our Phoenix line will support women rebuilding their lives after betrayal. More applause, more camera flashes. My mother finally pushed her way out, leaving behind only the echo of her heels on marble. They say karma comes for everyone eventually, I concluded. But sometimes karma needs a little help. Sometimes karma needs a business degree and a really good legal team. The laughter was thunderous. As I stepped away from the podium, the screens behind me played our campaign video. Images of strength, rebirth, and triumph set to a powerful soundtrack. Afterward, during the reception, Fatima approached me with her recorder. That wasn't the speech we rehearsed. No, I agreed, sipping champagne. That was better. Your mother's outside, she said, crying to anyone who'll listen about how you've destroyed her. Funny, I replied. That's exactly what she tried to do to me. Ava appeared at my side. The orders are already coming in. We've crashed the website twice. Make it 3 times, I smiled, checking my phone. Our stock had jumped another 15%. Later that night, as the event wound down, Caitlin handed me a final sales report. We've exceeded our monthly target in 3 hours. Not bad for a controlling bitch, I quipped, using Wesley's words from his failed Instagram attack. Liz, Ava said softly, you won. It's over. I looked around the venue, at the success I'd built, at the team who'd stood by me, at the empire I'd not just saved, but transformed. No, I replied, it's not over, it's just beginning. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You're just like me now. Congratulations, daughter. I showed it to Ava, who snorted. Mom's final attempt at manipulation? No, I said, deleting the message. Her final mistake, because I'm not like her at all. I'm everything she could never be, successful on my own terms. As we left the venue, reporters called out questions about revenge, about family, about betrayal. But I just smiled and kept walking. The headlines tomorrow wouldn't be about what they did to me. They'd be about what I did for myself. The penthouse office was quiet except for the gentle hum of the city below. I sat at my desk, staring at the email that had just arrived. Dearest Elizabeth, Wesley left me. He's gone back to his ex-girlfriend. I have nothing left. No money, no dignity, no family. Please, I'm your mother. We can start over. Love, Mom. Ava perched on the edge of my desk, reading over my shoulder. Wow, she really doesn't give up, does she? She's broke, Felix added, checking his tablet. The last of her assets were seized yesterday. Wesley cleaned out their joint account before he left. I closed the email without responding. Karma really is a masterpiece when you let it work. Speaking of masterpieces, Caitlin walked in, waving a magazine. Have you seen the new Forbes cover? She tossed it on my desk. There I was, in my signature red, under the headline, The Phoenix Queen, How Elizabeth Turned Betrayal into Billions. They got one thing wrong, I said, pushing the magazine aside. This was never about billions. No? Ava raised an eyebrow. It was about power, about proving that their biggest mistake wasn't betraying me. It was underestimating me. My phone buzzed. A text from Wesley. I'm sorry for everything. You were always the better person. Delete, I said out loud, pressing the button. Some apologies come too late. Ms. Elizabeth, my assistant called through the intercom. Your father's here. I hadn't seen him since the scandal broke. He'd been traveling, supposedly unable to face the mess his wife and son-in-law had created. Send him in. He looked older, grayer, but his eyes were clear as he approached my desk. Elizabeth. Dad. I've been a coward, he said simply. I should have been here. Yes, you should have. He pulled something from his jacket, an old photo album. Found this while packing up the house. Remember this? The album fell open to a picture of me at 8 years old, standing in his office wearing his suit jacket like a dress, drowning in fabric but grinning proudly. You said you were practicing to be a boss. He smiled sadly. Your mother said you were being silly. I should have seen then what she was doing to you. Dad, no, let me finish. I watched her dim your light for years, watched her manipulate and criticize and tear you down. I did nothing. Then she took it further than anyone could have imagined, and I still did nothing. You're here now, I said softly. Too late? No, I stood up, just in time to see what I've built. Want a tour? As we walked through the offices, showing him the empire I'd created, I felt something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet, but understanding. We all had our failures to live with. Back in my office, Ava had laid out lunch, including the triple chocolate cookies that had become our crisis food. Join us, Dad? He looked at the cookies, then at his daughters, one with purple hair and paint-stained fingers, one in a power suit with an empire at her feet. Both survivors of the woman he'd married. I'd like that. We ate and talked, not about Mother or Wesley or betrayal, but about the future, about the foundation we were building, about Ava's new art gallery, about possibilities. Elizabeth, Felix interrupted gently. The board is waiting. I stood, straightening my jacket. Time to work. Dad, stay as long as you like. Ava can show you the new product line. Actually, he said, I'd like to see the foundation plans. If you'll let me, I'd like to help. I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw what my mother never had: quiet strength, ready to be used for good. The foundation meets tomorrow at 9, I said. Don't be late. After he left, Ava hugged me. You okay? Better than okay. I picked up the Forbes magazine, really looking at my photo this time. The woman staring back wasn't a victim or a vengeful daughter. She was a force of nature. What now? Caitlin asked. Now? I smiled. Now we build something so magnificent that betrayal becomes nothing but a footnote in our success story. My phone buzzed one last time. Another desperate message from my mother. But this time, I didn't even look at it. Some chapters need to stay closed. Ready for the board? Felix asked. I grabbed my presentation folder and headed for the door. Always, let's show them what rising from ashes really looks like. Because in the end, the best revenge wasn't just success. It was becoming someone they couldn't touch, couldn't manipulate, couldn't break. It was becoming myself.